First Drive, 2018 Range Rover Velar. One of my favorite automotive advertisements, from around 1990, comes from L. and Rover's North American operations. It shows Range Rover overlooking a vast oil field, and the copy says, "Some of our owners still check their own oil." The subtle arrogance of this ad reflects the superior demographics of Range Rover's customer base, an asset that the BR and has managed to preserve to this day. But since then, L. and Rover has added several down-market models, including the aggressive Range Rover Sport, and the entry-level Range Rover Evoque, which is loosely based on the Ford EUCD platform. A few years ago, the BR and figured that the gap between the Evoque and the Sport is big enough for another model, tailored to aspirational customers moving upwards from the Evoque. This gap is now filled by the new Range Rover Velar, a vehicle that has been considered a highlight of the most recent auto shows, reminiscent of a concept more than a production car. 480 centimeters long, 193 centimeters wide, and 167 centimeters tall, is based on the architecture of the Jaguar F-Pace. But it is far more than a rebody of the Jag. Unlike its sister model, the Velar is fitted with an air suspension, and a less sporty front axle designed for off-roading. These changes reflect the different purpose of the Velar, consistent with its BR and heritage, is designed to be an ultra-capable off-roader rather than a sports car in disguise. The Velar is powered by a selection of 4- and 6-cylinder diesel and petrol engines, all of them fitted with a ZF source state-speed automatic transmission. We tested the top of the line first edition model, powered by a supercharged 3.0-liter V6 that produces a remarkable 380 horsepower. Maximum torque is rated at 450 Nm. The top-level alternative is a 300 horsepower and 700 Nm 3.0-liter V6 turbodiesel, an engine that might fit the character of the Velar perfectly. As to the petrol engine, we are not so sure. The numbers are convincing: 0-100 km/h in 5.7 seconds, top speed is 250 km/h. But subjectively, it is somewhat lacking. The sound of the engine conveys little excitement. Efficient it is, we came out at just over liters per 100 km. You can switch between different driving modes, and we highly recommend choosing dynamic mode. Unlike comfort mode, it keeps the Velar sufficiently tight, without turning it into an excessively sporty vehicle. You won't chase a sports car with it, or a Jaguar F-Pace, for that matter. It is far better to focus on what is perhaps one of the most futuristic and luxurious interiors in the market. Inside, the Velar is extremely purist, with clean lines and high-class materials. Start it up, and the central screen electrically tilts towards the passengers. The infotainment system is operated via touch-sensitive screens. The patterns and decor are extremely tasteful. The Velar is a quiet and tranquil capsule that will get you from A to B in utmost style. Speaking of which, the first edition is almost over the top. It comes with all conceivable bells and whistles and this includes rose gold accents reminiscent of the limited edition of the Evoque that was designed with input from Victoria Beckham in 2012. You can get them on any other Velar. Our recommendation: skip the first edition, go for the V6 diesel, choose to the ST and Art exterior, which looks even cleaner than the R design version and spec the awesome interior to the max. In case it's on your list of chores, it'll be the ideal vehicle to check your own oil. 2018 BMW X3 M40i Review. There seems no end to the SUV boom. BMW sold over 1.5 million BMWs since its first introduction in 2004. Now 14 years later, the third generation celebrates its debut, and BMW once again expects to sell more than ever before. Part of the line up is a new BMW M Performance Model X3 M40i that triggered our particular interest. We flew to Portugal to take a closer look at the new BMW X3. In addition to the top-of-the-line M40i, there are two petrol engines, both with a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine producing 184, 252 horsepower, and 290, 350 Nm of torque, and two diesel engines, a 4-cylinder 2-liter with 190 horsepower, and 400 Nm of torque, and a 6-cylinder 3-liter with 265 horsepower, and 620 Nm of torque. Our favorite, the X3 M40i, comes with a 3-liter 6-cylinder petrol engine with 360 horsepower, and 500 Nm of torque. The 0-100 km/h sprint is done in just 4.8 seconds. 0,1 seconds faster than the slightly more powerful Mercedes-AMG GLC 43, 367 horsepower, and more than half a second faster than the Audi SQ5, 354 horsepower, that needs 5.4 seconds to reach 100 km/h from ST, and still. Just like its competitors, the M40i is limited to 250 km/h top speed. Almost equally important as the performance is the design of the new X3. With a larger BMW kidney grille, shaped front bonnet, and new LED headlights, the new X3 has a stronger and sportier presence than ever before. From behind, the new design with large LED rear lights and twin tailpipes emphasizes the width of the car, making it look a lot better than the X5 from behind. From the side, the X3 also looks a lot sportier than its predecessor. The only thing I don't like is the square shape of the wheel arches, but overall it looks a lot better than the last X3, and is an appealing offer in this competitive segment. Inside, the dashboard received a makeover, but the available buttons remain largely the same. New is the touchscreen infotainment display, and digital driver display that replaces the analog speedometer and rev counter. As with most other recent BMWs, the design is quite conservative compared to the last generations, and although BMW offers several different ways to interact with the infotainment system, touch, gesture, voice, and iDrive controller, the software is a bit overwhelmed by all the new functionalities added to BMWs over the recent years. This obviously harms usability of the system, and makes it hard to find what you are looking for. The new BMW X3 can be equipped with the latest set of BMW assistance systems, including adaptive cruise control, lane assist, and lane change assist that we also tested on the latest generation BMW 5 Series. I highly recommend ticking these boxes while ordering your BMW X3, as it makes driving a lot more comfortable and safer at the same time. The BMW X3 M40i brings a new level of sportiness to the X3 line up. The weight distribution is 50 hours 50 minutes front and rear, and with a CD value of 0.29 it has class-leading aerodynamics. The M Sport suspension can be equipped with adaptive dampers, so you can choose between sport and comfort. The X3 M40i is significantly stiffer than the ST and ARD X3 in both sport and comfort mode, but it is not as spine-crashing hard as some other SUVs with sporty aspirations. It is incredibly quick, and rivals the GLC 43 AMG for sheer driving fun on these Portuguese B roads. Along comes a very addictive sound. Drivers are treated with a full buff on upshifts, and pops, and crackles on downshifts, fake or not, it does sound good. Swapping the roads for the highway, the X3 M40i morphs from a corner-eating beast to a pleasant travel companion. Thanks to the optional acoustic glass, it is pretty quiet, and with other desirable optional extras like seat cooling, head-up display, and the various driving assistance systems, it leaves little to be desired for comfortable long journeys. Overall, the BMW X3 M40i is a very versatile and sporty SUV. In terms of driving dynamics, design, and performance, it gives the SQ5 and GLC 43 AMG fierce competition. The interior redesign is quite conservative, which might appeal to part of the target audience, but I was hoping for more progress,